Senator Elizabeth Warren, along with several other Democrats, and Republican Senator Rand Paul moving to force a vote on a resolution to repeal the president's tariffs by canceling the emergency declaration used to justify them. In a Financial Times op-ed out this morning, she is making her case for more Republicans to join her efforts. Senator Warren joins us this morning. She is the lead Democrat on the Banking Committee. And Senator, in the past, you have gone along with tariffs, maybe targeted tariffs. What's different about what the president is doing right now?
So, look, I think tariffs are a very important part, a tool in our economic toolbox. But they have to be used in a way that is targeted. We have a specific goal. We are bringing it in with a timing that makes sense, so that we're going to be able to manufacture things at home. Take, for example, the pharmaceutical industry. Right now, you've got a 9 out of 10 chance that when you have a prescription filled, that it was made somewhere overseas, probably Asia, and the materials for it came from China. That puts us in a vulnerable position. So using tariffs as part of an integrated strategy to get more pharmaceuticals manufactured here in the United States makes sense economically, makes sense strategically, but that is not what Donald Trump is doing. By putting across-the-board tariffs with virtually every nation on virtually every product with no planning and no rhyme or reason to the numbers is just creating economic chaos. And when there's economic chaos, no one wants to make investments in the United States to build more manufacturing, to build more good jobs here in America.
Are you hearing from businesses at this point? What other constituents? I mean, it's an unusual place to find businesses maybe running from Republicans and running to some more progressive Democrats seeking cover.
You know, we're hearing from businesses, small businesses, big businesses. We're hearing from families. Already, businesses are starting to raise prices in anticipation of how to weather this storm, which means costs are going up for families. Small businesses are worried that they're just going to get capsized in this kind of turmoil. And that's the problem that Donald Trump is creating. Nobody can plan for this. The numbers make no sense. And this is the moment for Congress to step up and exercise its power. The authority that Donald Trump is using is a declaration of emergency. But the specific law for that says that Congress can pass a resolution and say, no emergency here. And let's face it, realistically, emergency? Really? Yeah. It was designed for things like we go to war. And instead, Donald Trump is declaring an emergency with Belgium, an emergency with every country around the world. So it's time for Congress to step up. Every Democrat is ready. We just need the Republicans to join us and say that they are ready to go as well. You know, this is a real point for the Republicans. Do they think that their job in Congress is just to bend a knee to Donald Trump, no matter what he does? Or do they think their job in Congress is actually to represent the American people and to help protect them and their livelihoods and this economy?
Let me just say what President Trump said yesterday to some of the Republicans. He talked about how he sees some rebel Republican who wants to grandstand. He says, I saw it today, a couple of your congressmen, I think we should get involved in the negotiations on tariffs. Oh, that's what I need. I need some guy telling me how to negotiate. He says that this hurts his negotiation, as if this is a negotiation that tariffs will eventually go away.
Yeah. What negotiations is Donald Trump engaging in? I want to see the receipts on that, because I'm sure not. What we're seeing right now is that he is creating economic chaos. And look, he has imposed enormous damage on our country. He has proven to all the rest of the world that so long as he is president of the United States, that the United States is an unreliable partner. He also is creating so much domestic chaos that it's going to be a long time before people are going to say, you know what, I am ready to build a factory that'll take me 20 years to recover the costs on. no one wants to invest if they think, okay, today the tariffs are here and my costs will be this, but tomorrow they will be entirely different, and the week after that they could be different again, and the week after that they could be different again. No one invests into that kind of chaos. Congress has a chance right now to step up and say, wait. What we have in this country is checks and balances. Mm-hmm. And when a president has gone too far out on a limb, Congress has not only the legal authority, but in my view, the responsibility to say, nope, we're reining that back in because we all work together and all have a responsibility to support the American people and American businesses.
Your point on the chaos is well made. We see that in the futures every morning with what we've been watching with the markets. But our trade and tariffs reporter points out this morning that there's an on-the-water clause that comes with this in the customs release that basically says this tariff isn't enacted until 12:01 a.m. on items that are then leaving the ports from those countries. So anything already on the water is not going to come in with the tariff. Those items will be coming in to the end of May without having a tariff on them. You said you've been hearing from businesses that are already raising prices on this. Are they gouging by raising prices before their own prices go up?
Look, if they simply are passing along increased costs, that very much is a tax on the American people when they do that. But there are businesses that are already saying quite publicly, yep, they're worried, and so they're raising prices now. And this is actually one of my most serious concerns about the tariffs. Once everyone starts talking about price increases, and remember, this started last Friday with Jerome Powell saying that he's very concerned that we're going to see inflation. That is, costs are going to go up across the board for everything that consumers buy. That creates the environment for businesses to be able to say, oh, well, we'll just go ahead and increase our prices now. We will increase our prices more than the cost of the tariffs. And so you get the 1-2 punch of passing along costs from the tariffs, but also price gouging.
You always say that you remember our last conversation. This is almost like part two. Remember our last conversation about price gouging. So now you got another way to say that corporations are doing that. Well, but egg prices came down, inflation came down. It seems like the corporations only gouge when you say they're gouging, and then they're unable to at other times.
So I know you don't want to listen to me on this, but listen to Jerome Powell on this. The example he gave on Friday was from the last time that Trump's tariffs went into effect. And he said there was a tariff on washing machines. No surprise, the price of washing machines went up. But the shocking part is the price of dryers went up as well, even though there was no imposition of tariffs on those. You tell me what that is, except for price gouging.
Trying to figure that out. Unless you have a clothesline, unless you have a clothesline out back, you need the dryer, though, Senator.
Well, you need the dryer, but the price doesn't go up on dryers. The cost of dryers didn't go up.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good times. Yeah.
Totally. I love the smell.
I love the way you're changing the subject here. That is an example of price gouging.
They told me we had less than a minute.
They
said we had less than a minute left.
Now they say we can keep it going.
Now we can keep it going.
Now we can keep it going.
I don't want to keep it going.
Good.
No, Senator,
I bet you don't.
No, Senator, let me ask you a little bit. I mean, the big issue with this, it's one thing to have Democrats coming out and saying that they're going to challenge the president on this. It can't be done unless you have enough Republicans that sign on. We had Don Bacon, a Republican congressman from Nebraska, on earlier this morning, who is a Republican who's opposing the tariffs and trying to take the power back to the Congress earlier this morning. He's one of just 2 Republicans there, and I think you have about 7 Republicans in the Senate. That's not enough to overcome the presidential veto that President Trump has said he's going to bring down. What would it take for you to have enough Republicans who would actually say that they're going to do something about that? And what are you hearing behind the scenes? Look,
this is a moment of truth for Republicans. They can look around and see exactly what's happening to the businesses they represent, happening to the farmers they represent, happening to the families that they represent. And they're going to have to make a decision. Is their single job in Washington to bend a knee to Donald Trump no matter what? Or is their job in Washington to fulfill their oaths and to stand up for the people they represent? With this resolution, they're actually going to have to vote on that in the United States Senate. Every single person will go on record. The Democrats, we're ready to go to say that Donald Trump has gone too far, there is no emergency, and we can pull those tariffs back. The number of Republicans who will do that is growing because the pain is growing for families and businesses all across this country.